and night vision that we can't see with our own eyes. So it's the way to go if you want to see some strange things. I've seen an up-down Y of 9 objects manoeuvring through the sky, 9 objects in close formation, upside down Y shape. But unfortunately I didn't have the video connected to it. So there's that. So people ask me about night vision. I'm a big fan. I'd like to do it a lot more, and that's what I say. I've just moved into a house that now has got some really good viewing characteristics, very little light pollution. So where I live is just outside Holmfirth now, 2 miles out, up on top of the hill, plateau, and it's got great night vision capacity. Right, this is another guy. This is the same guy. Let's talk about intelligent act. Can we see that object there? That's in broad daylight. This is over Portsmouth. That's hovering. Oh look, we've now got a second object come to see its friend. This is another white sphere, which is popularly seen worldwide. White spheres now moving up and under intelligent. It was down there, it's now joined up, and then when it gets to there, it's going to go over here, and then they're both going to go over there. If that's not intelligence, I don't know what it is. So we have a hovering object, second object comes up from beneath it, and then says, oh come on, let's go this way. In broad daylight. That was over Portsmouth as well. Okay. How many people are aware of the term fleet sequences?
No.
Well, 1 or 2, not many. Now these are things that I find really, really weird. Now, before I show you this next clip, how many of us have seen the red arrows?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've probably all seen the red arrows. If you've not seen them live, you've seen them on the TV. 9 aircraft, formation team, close format, doing weird and wonderful manoeuvres. That's really the only medium in which aircraft manoeuvre that tightly together. Yeah? They get really wingtip to into it. Now, there's a lot of precision that goes into the flying and manoeuvres done by the red arrows. Spend ages forming their tricks. Close formation, 9 objects. Well, imagine you're looking at the daylight, sunny day, with a bit of cloud, and you suddenly see 500 objects holding formation. Do you think we've got a piece of video that shows that? Yeah, we have. Now we can only do about 9 or 10 at most. Okay, so somebody wants to explain to me what this is. They're flying in formation over Mexico. These are spheres. They're holding formation. They can't be tethered like balloons, like some people would suggest. Balloons are subject to thermals in the air. They're holding formation. Estimated to be at least 500. Now I suspect that these are remote. Right? Right, listen to that background noise. Can you hear that background noise there? Like an almost scraping sound, metallic sound. Okay, that might be relevant. But they're holding formation. But you'll see, they'll zoom in, and there's some larger objects. Noticeably larger. I think they're the ones controlling these. But the point is, man cannot have 500 objects holding formation. That object is probably controlling those. Yeah? It's amazing. Broad daylight. Why isn't that on the 6 o'clock news? Why isn't that being examined by top photographic experts? They're holding formation. We can't do that. Can you imagine, you've all seen balloons released in a park. 1,000 balloons for charity. What happens? We're all over the place. These are holding formation. Should be on the news, it's not. That was Guadalajara in 2004. But there are actually 2 types of fleet sequence. There are fixed, where they're holding formation, and there are moving fleets. Now you think moving fleets are probably balloons, but the moving fleets have got different characteristics altogether. Right, let me show you moving fleets. Right, here we go. So, this is a collection. it was again Mexico, but they've happened all over the world. But there's a collection.
As we saw,
Have people heard of Jaime Muson? He's a researcher in Mexico. I've met him twice. He's really arrogant. Don't like the guy.
here it just very briefly.
He's got his own TV show. He's very well known in Mexico.
So-called clusters.
He's very arrogant.
or fleets that have been recorded.
But he has, because of his TV show, he gets lots of clips sent to him. And some of them are outstanding. Holding formations, and then you get moving ones. I think most of these are remote probes. But you've got clouds, moving clouds, broad daylight. How do we explain this? Some of these make weird and wonderful patterns. Almost like crop circles. They're like, I think there's some message in them, to be honest. But I think you'll see a collection. Right, another sequence.
Since 1994, this was the first video we had from these fleets. We know sometimes.
And these have been captured all around the world, including Great Britain.
Time they stand still. But many other times they can move all of them together, or they can move to make different figures.
See, they can make, it'll change formation, and it's going to create different. You'll suddenly see 2 or 3 just suddenly move together,
It's related
and then make a different pattern.
to the crop circle cylinder. We have signs in the ground, on the ground, and we have signs in the sky. Figures, geometrical figures. You can see here more than 100 or probably 200 objects making a formation and standing still.
You're going to see some moving fleets in a minute.
Many times we have a few dozens of videos of this kind. Sometimes they move to make formations
See these 3?
or figures or
These are operating, and that's almost like a Z, isn't it? Now the cluster I saw of 9 objects over Holmfirth was an upside down Y, moving like that. 9 spheres. Didn't get it on video. Now people will say, oh, it's birds. Birds can fly up to 30,000 feet, but birds flutter because as their wings move, they capture the light from the sun reflected in a different way. So there is a fluttering aspect. These don't.
This recorded 21st of June 2004 over Cuernavaca near Mexico City, 100 kilometers away. You can see a cluster and all of them moving.
You see, if this is a balloon, you can see quite clearly that the cloud is passing in front of these objects. Now, if they're balloons, they should be blown all over the place, governed by the thermals of the wind. But these are not, these are holding position. And what you'll see in some of the sequences is they don't come from anywhere, they suddenly just appear in our viewing. It's like they come into our physical realm. People talk about portals and it sounds crazy, but how else can you explain something that just appears? It's almost like they're invisible and then they decloak, for want of a better phrase. Because I can't think of a better phrase than cloaking, to be honest. And over the years, what we now, after 70 years of research, is that there's basically 8 general characteristics of what I would call an ET craft. Instant acceleration, instant stop, reversal, on its same flight path, right angle turn, instant acceleration, vertical, descent, visible, invisible, and then finally usually there's no sound associated. But think of that metallic sound and I'll show you, if I've got another clip. Oh, this is the original clip, so we'll move on a bit there. So that's the one with us about the 500. That's that one. That's that one.
If we're not going to use the lights, we turn them on.
What you'll see in some of these sequences is suddenly some of them will speed up, acting independently of others.
February 27th, 2005. Is that recent?
I love this sequence. Looks like a load of balloons, doesn't it? Watch it change shape. And watch the little groups that start manoeuvring shapes.
Look the speed, please.
Look at the speed in relation to the clouds. If it's birds, it flutters. There's no fluttering, it's constant. He zooms in again. And watch how some of the spheres start taking on little shapes. Right. If you put over here, there's a sequence that's going to change shape here.
Look the speed.
Right? They're moving. Then a group are going to break away and start making a different path. And what they end up actually doing, see how that group has suddenly speeded up? They actually make an anchor shape as it goes in the air, and you can see this. But there's many, many objects here. You can see behind the cloud an anchor shape. See? There. It's like an anchor. Hundreds. Unfortunately the cloud's in the way. But that, when it zooms in, you see. But there are some better sequences. And you can see some spheres manoeuvring in close proximity to each other, close up. Sequence. Alright. Isn't it? This is a police clip sent to me by an off-duty couple, police officers, man and woman, and basically they live in the northeast. They're still serving, so I can't give their names, but they are who they say they are, prove who they are. And watch this as an upright cylinder. Listen to the noise. How weird is that? They didn't know what this noise was. And I said, what's the noise? They said, well, I don't know. But watch this. This is a caught on a mobile phone. It's an upright cylinder. They estimate 200 feet in length. It's not high altitude, but what's good is they said it was rotating on its own axis. And if you look here, you can see as it rotates, it hits the sun. And when it moves away out of the sun, it goes down. So it's a repeated sequence, but you can see it glistening in the sun. So what is keeping that up in the air? In an upright position? And the answer is, you shouldn't have anything like that. Yes, we do have some industrial balloons that they send up that are long and look like a big balloon. But they can be 30, 40 feet long. But nothing that size. And what they do is they're still governed by the wind because they are balloons. And they don't stand upright. We'll answer questions at the end. Yeah? And they can't rotate on their own axis. And some of these sequences, they show lights that will blink on and off. So they're like self-illuminous as well. But that noise is fascinating to me because there's a similar noise and I've heard it on a couple of others. But that's a police clip. And it will be in the book. Okay, this is a case that I got involved in several years ago, and it involves a couple who run a nursery. So they wouldn't go public initially because they feared that people would take the kids away without their creche kind of thing, because their business was on the line. But cut a long story short, over 3 successive years they managed to capture footage over Fleetwood in Lancashire. And I got involved, and the first sequence that they got is still for me one of the best night sequences of multiple objects I've ever seen. Why? Because it takes place over about 14 minutes. The first 7 minutes is useless photography, basically. You don't have to film what he's looking at. And he's got he's not on manual zoom, so the automatic focus is in and out, and it's basically keeps blowing it up. It's terrible. But after about 7 minutes, he gets it together, and he basically is zoomed out, and he leaves it fixed. He doesn't start zooming in and out. And you'll see what I still think is one of the best nighttime sequences ever seen. Nobody hardly ever knows about it. This is about halfway through when he finally gets his act together in the nicest possible way. He's not a photographer. See this glow here? This is a street lamp casting a glow. These are 3 spheres in that formation. Street lamp there. People are out in the street. Go get Tom, go get Tom. Dogs are barking. Hey, what's this? So this is a real event. But these are, oh look, now keep an eye on here. Because guess what? 3 more UFOs are going to join them. And they're going to make patterns in the sky. But this is great for definition. Because you'll see at one point you get house roofs. This is able, a mathematician and a physicist will be able to work out angles, sizes, etc, etc. But watch what it is, the movement. So he's got 3 objects there. There's the orange light glow here. But the next time he zooms away and comes back in, guess what? He's got 3 more of them joining him. Alright, see how he's zooming in and out? He's a pain in the ass, but in reality he's not a photographer, so we all do it. But he knows he's looking at something strange, but he stays. Oh! So these 3 were over here, are now going to join up with these 3. And they're going to start making formations in the sky against the backdrop of house roofs, which is brilliant for 3D perspective. From my point of view, you often see lights in the sky, but there's no reference points. Could be anywhere. But this gives us clear reference points. And you'll see them pull back at one point. But watch these objects. These 3 objects are going to move towards there. I've seen this a million times, so I know what's happening. This object is the lead object. And it is going to move over there. And these are going to come, form together and make a nice little perfect horseshoe behind the leader. Follow the leader. Now bear in mind that these objects have come into the shot from right to left. They're then going to leave by the opposite way, the way they came in. So they came in from right to left, they're going to leave left to right. So look, they're all going to move up. That one's going to come across to there. These are going to get nice and cuddly and make a horseshoe, perfect horseshoe pattern in the sky. Above little old Lancashire town of Fleetwood. See how they're getting closer? That one's going to catch up to make a perfect line. Come on. He's saying, come on, get together. But they're creating this formation in the sky. Now, let's think about this logically. This is some microlights with lots of lights on. Don't microlights have to have a little engine? This isn't really high altitude. You can hear everything else, but you can't hear anything. Plus, can microlights do this? I've never seen a formation team of red arrows microlights. But see how they're coming together? Follow the lead, he's coming to the middle. This is going to make a perfect horseshoe. Watch. It's amazing. If you speed it up, it's very impressive. But what a shot that is. What a shot that is. That gives us real depth of field. Where they were. Somebody could work out accurate heights and sizes because we get that rooftop. See how they've come together? Now can anybody tell me what this is? And this, believe it or not, looks like it's an aircraft flying very close to this sequence. Where it was from, what it was, I don't know, but someone flew through it. So I suspect somebody knew what was there. Right, flying right through this sequence. So you're telling me the pilot's going, oh, what's that? Often these turn up when things are seen. So it's as if something's being dispatched to go see. Right, now this is moved on. So they've done the horseshoe. And now they're going to go back out the way they came in. And they're going to make what I call now the dominoes. A perfect 3 dominoes and a perfect 2. 1, 3, 2. And then they're going to start blinking out one by one. But going out the opposite direction to which they came in. The same direction which they came in. Street lamp all the same time. So this is a manoeuvrability over a small confined area. Right, so this is all going to line up to make a perfect line of 3 and a perfect 2.
That lamppost is making a light, is affecting it.
See it making out now?
Battery power.
Yeah, and they're going back out the way they came in. And that's actually about a 17-minute sequence, but the first 8 or 9 minutes, you just couldn't get them.
Yeah.
But what is that? What flies in and flies out? No, it does weird patterns in the sky above your house. I can't think of anything that does that conventionally. Other than the kind of sequences that we see with these spheres. Do you not think that's an interesting clip? Why isn't that on the news? Why aren't scientists? You don't have to be a UFO nut, for want of a better word, But why in science saying, I want to examine what that is, I want to find out what that is. And have a process of elimination. It doesn't happen. Nobody's bothered. Just these clips just never get shown. Don't make sense. Okay, is this a bottle here? STS good copy. This next clip was taken over America. Look at all these. Individual spheres in a huge sequence. Massive. I think it was taken near New York. Huge numbers.
When was this?
I think this is only about 2007, something like that. And what we've actually got, there are some clips where objects appear to be releasing small spheres. You see them like just pop out, coming out of the tube. Okay. How many people have seen this clip and they say this is just an anomalous photographic film? Watch an object drops down, sphere, comes up, and then it goes right, looks in at the kind of like windows, what's going on there, and then it goes off. This is that sequence there. Those two objects are some of the most famous film ever seen, and this. So I'll just run that back. If you know your history, 1950, so it's the era of flying saucers, the first major clip in the public domain that didn't come out until 1956, it wasn't released to the public until 1956, but occurred in 1950, was this clip of two objects going past a water tower. And they worked out that they were not birds. There was over 1,000 man-hours spent studying them by the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and basically they said they were self-illuminating, not birds, but these are the spheres like what we've just been looking at, but 70 odd years ago. Huge debate, kept secret for 6 years, and then came out in a documentary in 1956. Right? But that's probably the most famous. But the interesting thing was, the guy that filmed that sequence said that the first few frames that showed more of a close-up were missing when he got it back. And yet only this little bit was shot. And coincidentally, the next clip, the most famous clip, again, kept secret for 4 years, released, was 1952, and it's this next sequence. And you know, we've just been looking at multiple spheres manoeuvring in the sky. Well, this is a 1952 first ever clip in the public domain doing the same. Alright? And this is called the Tremonton footage. And this is multiple spheres, just like the sequences we've just been looking at, manoeuvring, and you'll see objects. And this is just a little montage sequence put together. But no different now to what was 50 years, 60 years ago. Now, UFOs are not just spheres, but we have managed to record spheres more than anything else. Huge triangles are seen, black flying triangles. Many police officers have approached me, multiple officers, to say they've been on duty and they've seen an object the size of 3 football fields hovering in the sky. And I go, 3 football fields, how do you know it was the size of 3 football fields? And they go, because when we saw it, it was above 3 football fields. And I say that's a good way to remember it. Because what you look for is verification. What time was it when you saw this? Oh, well, I always go out at 10 o'clock. So I knew it was 10 o'clock. I just watched EastEnders. Always watch EastEnders on a Friday. That's the way police officers verify when a witness has seen something. This is another sequence, fleet sequence. Object captured over the moon. Object seen in space. Sphere comes towards spacecraft. Rotating, goes off. These are real. And you're going to say to me, where's that bloody tether? And I'm going to go, I don't know. Well, this is this is STS-48 Space Shuttle, and what you're going to see is the fast object here that slows down. Or if it's a meteor, it won't slow down. And it kind of like stops. This is a portion of the Earth being filmed. And then you'll see another object come whizzing along, but it's kind of like tadpole movement. And then you see another object, another object. This is the space shuttle guy zooming in a bit. What's that? And what they often do when they see something, they either cut the live feed or they turn the contrast up and it whites out. That's what NASA does. And then they don't say anything about it. Because if they don't make a comment, they don't have to defend themselves. And actually it works very well. Yeah? If this is a meteor, it will be constant. Burning up in the atmosphere or just travelling. This definitely slows down. There's lots of sequences like this. Okay. Oh, look, wedding photographs. Oh, it's better than pornography. Joking. Let me see. I did find a really good clip. Save sequence. You're going to get mad with me now. Because I have got this footage. Right, I tell you what. Oh, there we go. Just bear with me. I will now go to a different memory stick. Let's see if it's on there. Oops. This is another good sequence over Stratford-upon-Avon. This is some objects that were seen outside a pub, and so we started filming them. And you can't see actually as good on it, but you see the rooftops, and then this is some objects. You'll see some manoeuvring of the objects. These aren't stars. You see the house there? You can't see it. It's much better definition. You can fully see the house. That's somebody walking in front of the pub. Various people are out there. Mobile phone. What's that? And you can see that they're actually just manoeuvring just above the rooftop. You see the people? So you can see the proximity. That's a roof. That's a roof there. And these objects are there in the move position. Again, that's just the roof there. Windows. This is all going on in front of a crowd of people. Most people are oblivious to it. A good little sequence over Stratford about 2009. Right, this is just a little 5-minute sequence. Oh, no, I'll show you. This is a little documentary I made, only 5 minutes long, but it kind of like, it's got a nice soundtrack to it by Hans Zimmer. But this is about flea sequences and about what's not on the media. So fact or fiction, there aren't any good daylight film clips, well there aren't. And that's that flying sequence over Portsmouth, 2002. Now this guy had a bad heart, But there are some witnesses who are called repeater witnesses. They sometimes get a feeling, it sounds bizarre, but I've met several, like go outside, you'll see something. And he couldn't do much, couldn't work, so his hobby was filming the sky and stars. And he started to see objects manoeuvring out over his back garden. And there are he's got over 100 sequences, 200 sequences. Right? Now this is fleet footage, again above Portsmouth, multiple spheres. Oh no, this is the one where it joins up underneath. Same guy. Cloud for definition. You can see that first one's hovering, second one manoeuvring up underneath, and then it's going to go up. That's intelligence. Hovering, something's moving towards it. Well, the fact that it's going up, unless it's a Harrier jump jet, you can't really do that, and they make a lot of noise. Intelligent control? I think it is. If you're wondering what the music is, it's The Last Samurai. Great song. So what is fleet footage? Multiple UFOs caught on film. Earliest clip is that clip that I saw. 1952, Tremonton. Not birds. See this object's moving in relation to others, these are going to be moving up here. And again, this guy who took that footage said some of the best sequence was at the start of the film, cine film, never got it back. This was the bit that came out. So what's the difference to this? Same guy, filmed over Portsmouth, multiple objects. No difference to me, just years apart. And what you'll see is that some objects in his sequence just appear from nowhere. The more he zooms in, and you'll suddenly see one or two of them start moving, and some of them will like pick up speed to go into a different area. Appear totally independently of each other. Keep an eye on these three in this triangle, changing shape, showing that they're moving in relation to each other. Not birds. So why isn't this on the news? Why aren't we studying this? And the world's studying this. Our lives have been shaped since 1953. Everything you see. Yeah? So without you even having to pick up an article, look, subliminally you are being given a message. There's nothing to this subject. Built on a lie in 1953. And why? Loss of power is the main reason. Do the oil companies want to know that we've got free energy, that we maybe developed anti-gravity devices that don't use jet engines, petrol-driven cars? Do the oil companies want to lose their revenues? No. Do big businesses want to lose revenue? No. Do electric companies want to lose revenue? No. Powerful reasons why you are not told the truth. Corporations are greedy. They want their money. They don't want anything for you to be free. So that's just a little clip there. Do you like that? Now, I'm struggling to find the tether sequence, but I've got an 18-minute sequence, so you're going to kick me. But what I will do is say to all of you, rather than keep standing here silently, is go onto the internet and put into your search engine STS-75, or just put the tether sequence. The tether sequence, T-E-T-H-E-R sequence UFO. And you will get the 18-minute clip that I'm talking about. And you'll see these multiple objects. It's amazing, and you'll get the commentary with it. And it's not just flying P. And you can work that out yourself and look for the objects that are pulsing, rotating, giving out energy. Massive. Estimated at one point, one object passes underneath it, estimated to be at least 3 miles in diameter, if that was a 12-mile long time. So we have absolutely loads of things, but there is so much, forgive me, shite on the internet that you've got to be aware of. If you see a spaceship in close-up on the internet, it's CGI. In the public domain, we do not have a great clip in close-up definition. I've never seen one. The best you'll get is this kind of stuff. It's odd cylinder, odd sphere, odd triangle, cluster. Yeah? I think night vision is the way to get better clips, personally, and that's something I'm going to try to do over the next few years. But if you see something that looks too good to be true, it is too good to be true. Most of the sites out there are putting stuff out there that's not corroborated, no testimony, it's just story built on story. This is why I say to you, if you're genuinely interested enough to come out on a wet evening to come and see me about UFOs, if you're interested, you should go to the best sources, and I'm trying to give you the best sources with the magazine. Does that not make sense? Let me show you what the magazine looks like, just while we're on, because I've got a little intro sequence.